All right, howdy. Welcome back to WindleyMania, the podcast you never heard of, brought to you by the band you never heard of. The band that me, the best in the world, Andrew, is in. That's right. I'm not the only member, although if I was, I mean, come on, that'd be fucking great, right? It'd be so good. But no, there's this guy. He's a man's best friend, Devin Hopkins. He's in that, and he also helps me out.
Apparently I'm man's best friend.
Hey, you want to be called D-Hog instead? I thought
D-Hog?
Yeah.
D-Hog, yes. D-Hog?
That sounds
Yes, D-Hog.
Yeah.
I'm D-Hog.
No, man's best friend,
I'm
a.k.a. D-Hog, a.k.a. Bowflex, which I still love that one. So, yeah. All right, so how can I do this as calmly as possible? I have a very short temper, and part of my I guess growing or how I like to steer myself as a human being is I described it to Devin one time as I like to extend the fuse. You remember?
I think I remember you talking about
I like to extend the fuse because I have a very short temper and a very short fuse. And I've always just tried to extend the fuse. But sometimes there's things that make the fuse shorter. The olds. I talk about
you
the
don't
olds.
like the olds. You talked about that last week.
Just people in general. And this cocksucker with the dead cocksucker with the turtleneck, Steve Jobs, and his computers that he sells for at least $1,000 a pop, and then you buy one, and then it fucking likes to shit out on you when you're recording what I thought was a very compelling episode of WindleyMania. And but now we're here, and we talked a lot, and I guess since you, the listener, don't have any context to what it was besides the title, we are joined by two good friends, two good music people who have been guests on the show before. Mr. Caustin.
What's up?
From Lifting Things.
Yep.
And Hymns of Blasphemy. And then Mr. Jimmy.
Mr. Jimmy.
Howdy.
The Turn of Forte.
Yo. Howdy.
Slinging shirts. And
Shirt extraordinaire.
Well, and when I gathered you guys here because the three of you have been doing work as a collective for the Myrtle Beach shows, which were in Myrtle Beach, obviously. Obviously.
As far as we know.
I'd say.
Yeah. And you guys have been putting a lot of work into that. Pretty much started, I guess we established that you guys started doing it together beginning of this year. But, before all that, you guys have all had experience in your hands in show things, your hands deep, wrist deep,
Elbow deep.
and sorry,
I go in.
And
Short arms.
we're talking about that.
No choice.
We're talking about that, and one thing I don't like hearing the same things over and over again. Garrett knows this more about me than anybody because I've listened to that dude tell the same fucking stories. At like numerous times, and he always gives me a little like because he knows I fucking hate it. But no, I'm gonna extend the fuse and persevere. Well, I want to ask you guys about. Let's start with this. Let's try this because we didn't really do this last time in our hour into an hour of conversing about this, but everyone's origin story in this room as far as getting into the shows, as far as like the booking and then how that led up to what's going on now with the shows that we've seen, like last Saturday, me waiting in line, 250 people there. And I know there's people who listen in different areas, to the show, and it might be involved in music scenes like North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. It might see some like cool stuff and might not really like. I don't really know what the reaction would be to like 250 at a local show in other places, but it's like it's pretty special here. Like there's a long history of Myrtle Beach shows. There's always been a scene, but there's, fluctuations as far as fluctuates with participation. And I think it's we're getting back to people participating and coming out and yapping about shows and having a good time and seeing a lot of the same faces at all these shows where there's a lot of people at. So what's Caustin?
So you want to talk about the first show I ever booked?
Yeah, sure.
So that's your origin story, bro.
Okay.
Tell us the.
I don't know how far deep I can get into it, but so it was 2011, and I had had like a bunch of friends on like Facebook and stuff from like different parts of the state, or different parts of the United States rather. And I went to a couple shows in Myrtle Beach in 2011, as well as going to shows in Charleston. And I was talking to my mom one day, and I told her I wanted to book a show with bands for my birthday. And she's like, all right, I'll help you. And when I was a kid, she used to be a promoter for radio stations in Jacksonville, North Carolina. It's Onslow County, right outside of Wilmington, between Wilmington and Newburgh.
Yeah.
She booked a lot of bands up there.
Is that a military town?
It is, yeah. Camp Lejeune. Her stepdad was
we love
was a
Camp
Marine.
Lejeune.
Yeah. Hoorah or something like that.
Hoorah. Is that the one with the whole lawsuit?
Yeah, right now. Something in the water back in the day.
Something's in the water.
But yeah,
killing people.
I'm from a town outside of there. My mom worked for a radio station. She's a promoter. And she's like, yeah, I can help you out. And she was working for a radio station up here and knew a guy that owned a bar off of 17 Bypass outside of Soxie called Remedies. I went there, had a sit-down meeting with the guy. I had a whole proposal, like presentation of what I wanted to do at his spot. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. I didn't have to pay him anything. If I did, I do not remember doing that. He's like, you can have the space from this time to this time. All you need is the bands. Little did I know, I would also need a PA. Didn't realize that until the show was starting. And there was bands that I liked, mainly a lot of local bands, specifically Hey Dude. Loved Hey Dude. They were at my first local show I ever went to the year prior, literally almost a year prior to that. And then I booked... Abandonment was on there. It was Joey Mercier's old band.
Yeah.
Who else played? A band called All for All. It was their last show. Ooh. I don't know if you guys remember that band at all. They turned it into that band called Tidelands.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the members did. And Jake Howard did an acoustic set. But then I got two out-of-town bands. One was a band called Sever All Ties from Swansboro, North Carolina, which is a town outside of Jacksonville. They're a deathcore band. I asked him, hey, would you guys come play my birthday show? We're in Myrtle Beach. It's 3 hours south. I said, yeah. And then another one was a band called Embracer. And around that time period, like 2010 to 2012, there's a lot of bands that called themselves like melodic hardcore, but they were like more like metalcore. Like bands like Old 100, the Ghost Inside, Counterparts kind of stuff. And they were all like dudes like fresh out of high school. They're like, yeah, we'll come down. And they drove from Charleston, West Virginia.
Damn.
Played my birthday show.
That's
I'm still
cool.
friends with some of those dudes. I continued booking Embracer for all my years. Anyway.
That's got to feel real good. How old were you then?
It was my 16th birthday. I was 15.
Jesus Christ. I'd feel like I was on another planet. If I asked a band to come to play my birthday show and they did, I'd be like,
I don't know if I can pay you, but...
You guys know what the fuck I am?
That's exactly how it was. It was crazy because like my mom was like super about it. She's like, yeah, let's do this. She's like, you got to have food for these people. I'm like, dude, I'm slinging hot dogs out there.
Hell yeah.
For real.
Slinging your hot dog?
And,
on your birthday.
And I can't remember who I ended up having to borrow a PA from, but like the show was about to start. I did not have a PA. And I had searched somebody like a little like guitar amp that I used for like practicing vocals in my bedroom. They're like, that is not working. Dude, it was, I wish I could show you how tiny the damn amp was. So someone somehow had a PA. We made it work. And it was awesome. And I was actually watching a video of Embracer set. I downloaded it to my computer from Vimeo from that day because the band was never the same again. I mean, they were for like 6 months, but they changed. But I had a lot of people that I've seen going to shows, and I had a lot of like old heads at the time. And the show went really well. The flyer design was like Joey Mercier made it. Everybody made fun of the flyer design back then.
Was that the one that was getting shared around recently?
Dude,
where they're like,
yeah,
Joey's
yeah.
the best graphic designer in town.
I didn't see this. I gotta
Oh
send it.
god, it's really
awesome.
bad. But I shout out to Joey for doing that.
Hell
for sure.
yeah.
He was like, yeah. He's like, Abandonment will definitely play. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. The show went really well, and from that, I brought Embracer back a few times throughout the years, and then some of them turned into a band called Arises Kings, and Arises Kings turned into a band called Left Behind. That turned into be on Pure Noise Records, and I booked them a bunch. because of that initial connection with me booking it was all of the band members from the original lineup of Embracers, their first show out of state ever. And for, I made that connection with those guys, and they got more popular, and they told their booking agent, hey, hit up Caustin.
Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, we'll always play Myrtle Beach. Hit up Caustin. He'll book shows, and I did. Really good dude. So yeah, my first show I ever booked was it was a huge lineup, but it was Remedy's Bar and Grill, which is no longer Remedy's. It started off as a shit show, but it kind of set the course for me doing stuff going forward.
Yeah. Damn,
that's a good story.
So like,
I like that.
December of this year would be 12 years
Jesus Christ
of me booking bands. Yeah, I mean, I can go like further back if you want me to, but like listening to bands and stuff like that. But the first show I ever booked was that. You talk about the first show I ever went to in Myrtle Beach.
Sure.
I'll tell you, Baboon Brigade, baby.
What's that?
Baboon Brigade.
Baboon
We used to
Brigade.
work with a couple of those guys.
at the basement.
Nice.
My I can't remember who else played Baboon Brigade and some other band, but my mom dated one of the band members in the band Shark Legs, and he invited us.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That was the band my uncle was in.
yeah, I know.
I don't think it was my uncle. That
It was
she
not
dated,
your
though.
uncle. It was the drummer, I think.
Oh, he
Yep.
was in Prowler.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in Prowler. They broke up after that, but it was like the first show I ever went to. I was like, this is crazy. And then the first like show I ever went to, like involving like the alternative scene of like not a bunch of old people playing obscure music, was a good friend of mine, Mike Klinsky, invited me via MySpace to 100th at a place called the Hazmat, which was basically just a giant warehouse. And there was two different hazmats.
I heard of that.
It was 100th, Hey Dude, a band on the flyer. I'll send you guys the flyer later. Donovan's Band.
Oh, that's
Donovan's
awesome.
Band.
Donovan's Band.
That's a great
and
band
then,
name.
dude, a band that...
Whose band was that?
Donovan's Band.
Shout out to Donovan and his band.
I don't remember their set or anything.
Yeah.
I just remember Donovan's Band on the flyer, like a weird, like bubbly font. And then another band called Embrace the Branches from like somewhere like the border of North Carolina, Virginia. They were like a Christian death metal band.
Hell
Love
yes. Raise.
Crazy. That
Sorry,
show,
not raise hell.
that
Praise
show was
Jesus.
like, amen, dude. That show was packed like inside of this building. And I wish I could like show you guys like what
Like
the building looked
rebar
like.
and all this shit out there.
Yeah, yeah. It was crazy. There, like a dude. I remember seeing a dude at the top of this building. It was like a 2-story building.
Yeah.
Jumped off some rafters.
What the fuck?
What?
Crazy. To get to the spot, like it wasn't like at a bar or like House of Blues or anything like that, or even like a venue. I'm telling you, it's a storage warehouse that somebody rented from somebody's dad or something. My mom and my stepdad drove me down this dirt road with my friend Andy. We met up with my friend Kevin, and we were like standing outside, like, who are all these people? You know, this is crazy. And I was just like kind of roughhousing with my friend Andy, and he said something that it didn't like piss me off, but I was just messing with him, you know. I said, don't talk shit, Andy, and I kind of gave him like a light tap, and I didn't know there was a manhole behind him, and I didn't know that the cover was not there, dude. So like half of it fell in, and if you guys could have seen his face, man.
Yeah.
And that's
Rip Andy. It's a shame he died that day.
He's still out there
Boy,
in our hearts and minds.
Andy's hole.
It was Andy Hall.
Andy
Right,
Hole.
Andy?
Was it Andy Hole?
No, it was
Manchester Orchestra's Andy Hole?
No, Andy Conklin.
Oh,
Big Miami Dolphins fan. Big big EDM guy now.
hell yeah.
Wub.
He was a killer in the pit. He was a killer in the mosh pit. At one
As
point,
those say.
But yeah, that was like my first official show. Seeing like this is crazy. I want to do stuff, and I think that kind of like set the motions of me wanting to book a show later on. Because I started going to shows with people out of town in Charleston. Like I don't know if you guys have ever done that when you were in high school, having to tell your parents like I want to go 2 hours out of town on a school night.
I didn't leave my house very much.
My parents.
My
weren't
mom
really there.
was
What
like
I went to was not on a school day.
in high school. At the beginning, a couple years of high
Parents
school, my
didn't
mom was
really
like
notice if I left.
on her strict phase, and respectfully, and rightfully so, she wanted to meet the people I was going with.
Yeah.
So the people had to come to my mom's like apartment and be like,
Embracer,
"Hey,
can you come to my mom's apartment to
yeah,
make sure
yeah.
I can see y'all?
Yeah, please." No, I'd be like, I had friends that were seniors in high school, and I'm a freshman, and I'm like, "Hey, like, I need you to meet my mom," or hey, you want to go to the show? I'm like, "Yeah, but I need you to meet my mom first. And
They're like, look at this fucking kid.
Yeah,
He
look at
wants
this
us to
fucking
meet
child,
his
yeah.
mom.
And his mom loves him and cares about him. What the fuck?
What a loser.
But yeah, everybody I rode with met my mom, and then she kind of got tired of meeting people, and I just stopped meeting people and just kept on riding with
She's
them,
like,
man.
dude, this guy's got too many fucking friends.
Yeah, geez, it's like a different person every time.
That's crazy.
It really was. But yeah, dude, that's like I met all the people from Charleston, and I used to go to shows in Wilmington all the time when I was in high school. But yeah, my first show, 100th, first show I booked was a year later almost. I think it was like 3 days off or something like that.
That's awesome.
What about you, Andrew? What was your first local
It's not
show?
about me this
but
evening. It's about the collective.
Yeah, but
we spent the last 5 days talking about us.
That is true.
We've been trying to record this episode for 5 days. It's like driving to Greenville out here.
Yeah, after the first 10 minutes, we spliced it with another recording, another one. Caustin had to restart his story over and over.
I did.
It's all right. It should be.
You don't have to tell. All right, fine, Andrew. Don't say
Andrew's
nothing.
Mr.
Mr. Jimmy.
What's the before I go in, because I do like listening to you speak. What is the first show you went to?
The local?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anything that was not like House of Blues, like big concert. What was the first feet on the ground, DIY world?
I have a pretty bad memory, so I can't pinpoint exactly.
You can describe colors. We'll get there.
It's really dark. And
is it Rebar? I think you went to this 100th show. I heard about it.
Was there a card or was it yellow?
Yeah, was it yellow card at Brick House?
Was there a violin?
No, it's
Did you play violin?
God. It was either
Was the band name a Sleeping Pill?
no,
it's all Benadryl. It was fucking crazy.
well, it was either Shark Legs at Island Bar or at the restaurant. I mean,
The House of Blues restaurant?
Yeah, I don't know if that really counts.
I think so.
It was just them.
It does.
Oh, because they played the after party of the Flogging Molly show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But man, I remember that one was Shark Legs and the Slobs, and we went to that because Ryan, Devin's uncle, was playing with Drew Jacobs. You know what? I must have went to a show before. I think I went to Woody's before this.
Oh.
So, and that was, I went with, I remember my stepdad dropped me off, and then Caustin drove me back to Devin's house.
I remember that night because I did not go to that show for whatever reason.
And
I do not remember this.
And that was probably, I think that one of the first times I met you, Caustin. But our friend Justin told me I recently became friends with him. I don't remember who played. It was, I think Fracture played. 'Cause I got a Fractured sticker that's still on my amp. And I don't remember who else played.
Damn.
It was just like
That's a deeper
Dude,
cut than
American
I thought.
Burden might have played that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Dude, that might have been a show that no. Yeah, Fracture did play there a few times. That's crazy.
I guess I keep forgetting that y'all's entry in the scene was just slightly staggered from mine, but only by a few months. Like we were very, very close to when we all were getting into it.
We kind of got in different ways because we got in really through Caustin.
Yeah. And I got in through the Cody's world of
but it was all the
into
same. It was all the same shit.
Yeah,
it
we
was
were
all. It was all either
working.
Woody's or Fat Cat or whatever was going on. And we met you, Jimmy, in 9th grade.
Yeah, we met in high school.
We met in
I
high
attended
school.
your school. I moved from Loris to Myrtle Beach my 8th to 9th grade year.
And you were there, and then I think you did virtual or something.
Yeah, I went virtual in 10th grade. So
you
I guess
you made the right move.
That can pivot into my show stuff then, I guess. So the first show I ever went to was when I moved to Loris about 30, 45 minutes from here back in 2007 from Florida. And it had to have been probably 2009 or 2010, but we went to, there used to be a venue out in Loris called Mike's Place. It's a pizza place right across from the Hills Meat Market. I think it's burned down a few times, but it's still there. It's just not a business. But my sisters brought me out just as a thing to bring your little brother to. And there, in my memory, there was 100 people there. And that was me probably being 5'6", 5'5".
Yeah.
I'm I don't know what I'm doing. And I saw at last glance, Hey Dude. I remember seeing this band Since Forever, and then I don't remember anything besides that. But I met Jake Anderson and Bradley and Eric Sessions and all this, those guys.
The guys that are still around.
Because then 2 weeks later they came to my dad's or to my house and bought a PA from my dad.
Oh wow,
that was the very first anything music band other than my parents' band that I'd ever seen growing up. And then we moved to Myrtle Beach because our house got foreclosed on. So we moved out of the house we had in Loris, rented in Myrtle Beach. In 2012, I would start freshman year at Myrtle Beach High School, which is, I only knew like 2 or 3 people. That was kind of adjacent to y'all's friend group. But 9th grade, I don't think I did any band stuff because that was 2012. And I was just kind of doing acoustic. Like, my whole family has always played music.
Yeah, whole family.
But 9th grade was probably just me playing open mics a lot and making friends in Myrtle Beach city limits because I didn't want to go 45 minutes to Loris. I couldn't drive.
Yeah.
But the end of 2013, or through that last chunk of 2013, is when I would have met Quinn and all them at Fresh Brewed through open mics. And I remember the day I met him because in my contact, it's still the same thing that I wrote down. I didn't know his last name, so he's always been Quinn in my phone. And to this day, it's still just that. But
That's so funny.
He mentioned he wanted to start a band with his songs. And then he introduced me to Cody the next week. And then we all started meeting up at my parents' house in December of 2013. And then played our first show, probably like the 3rd or the 8th or something like that of 2014. And that was my first show. I did not book that. I believe that was either booked by Quinn or Cody, but that led down a string, and I really did not book my first show until 2016, and that was out of town.
Yeah, but like 90% of the time you were there. Though.
I was there, so I was
Like
there
after your
every
first show, I swear I saw you all the time.
But I never booked any show by myself until I was starting to book tours for Turno Forte. Like my first show I ever booked would have been like something either in like New York or Philly because we had a friend that booked the other bands I'd been in up until that point. In those areas. So, and in Myrtle Beach, it was either dealing with the Beat Farm, yourself. I don't even know if you'd ever booked us or like Rick. So like I didn't book a show under my name in Myrtle Beach. Maybe the first full band show we did. I don't know. I don't even think I illustrated that. But it would have been, I like to think the first show I ever booked was our record release show in 2021. So, I really think that's true.
So both of our first shows had Hey Dude.
Yeah. It was the first band I ever saw.
Wow, that's awesome.
I remember walking outside with my little solo cup of Coca-Cola from the pizza shop inside, and someone's hacky sack just like landed in it. And I was just like, I don't know how to handle this situation.
Dude, oh man.
But yeah, so I guess my entry, where we connect would have been freshman, sophomore year because I was friends with like, I don't know, maybe half of the same people y'all knew. But since I didn't grow up in Myrtle Beach and I didn't know the school system or people, I just kind of just floated through friends. Like, I don't know who's
this
me.
guy? I was like, who's this
I don't
guy?
know who I am, and I also don't know these people, so I don't know who clicks with what. And so I never, like, placed, which was nice because even to this day, like, I'm still very good friends with a lot of people across the board that I went to. Well, I only went 2 years to Myrtle Beach High School. The reason I went virtual in 11th, 12th grade is because we started traveling too much with Pompo. Like, I legitimately was missing 3 or 4 weekends a month because we were out of town, and I was making up Saturday school stuff, but I was just presented the option like, hey, you can keep doing Saturday school, which is ruining your weekends, or here's an option through Provost Academy that is virtual that you can just do there. And I was like, well, that sounds great. And then me and Quinn, the summer before I started that, went on a month-long thing. And then after that, just stayed pretty consistent, just traveling as much as we could. There's a stretch where we did like probably 45 shows across 3 months.
Jesus Christ.
And it was just like, I couldn't do that if I were in school.
Right.
I would have been a sophomore or a junior or a senior, but like that was an opportunity to do it, so I did it. But I didn't book those shows,
Dude, I know you guys were young when I met you.
All of my
hearing
birthdays
that makes you feel really old for some reason.
Dude,
I was in like 10th grade when we met Caustin.
But I'm only like a couple years older than you, right?
I know.
It's just like that
you
weird.
Had like just graduated high school.
Turn of the 2010s is such that it's such a
all
weird
blur-
thing
it's
because
all
we're
blur.
all here.
Yeah.
We're all mentally all here, but there is that just slight distinction. But I did like my 18th birthday. I turned 18 in Greensboro, North Carolina. I turned 21 in Lake Tahoe. Like all these staple things, I was just traveling. Like I wasn't home for 6 years of my birthday.
Yeah,
it was
I
crazy.
remember after I first met you at Fresh Brewed, like for a while, I saw you like every weekend. It felt like. Not at shows, like we'd be like doing random stuff. Like we had like a squad of people hanging out for a while there.
We rolled deep for a few. 2014, 2015 was a very big, like everybody's friends with. There was no like, it was all super inclusive for no reason other than we were all kind of the same age.
Dude, do you remember? I don't want to. I want Devin to tell a story. No, I'm not going to dox anybody. Do you remember waking up that one day and you made me breakfast?
Yeah.
Dude,
I made a lot of people breakfast.
Like I feel like it was like the whole.
I made
week.
probably upwards of like 8 or 9 people
Yeah,
breakfast.
I think it was like the whole weekend. You like made breakfast every day. I was like, this is crazy. Like I just met this dude a few months ago and he's making breakfast.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was that was a really like bizarre time to look back on. But it like I said, it was super inclusive. Like everyone in the scene at that time felt like we were all kind of the same age.
Oh yeah,
and so that motivated the band I was in to keep doing stuff because it's like it wasn't people going to shows; it was just friends hanging out. It literally an excuse to say, "Oh, it's Wednesday. Well, I get off at 8. I'll be at the show. What time does it start? 8. All right. Well, fucking whatever. We'll hang out afterwards at so and so's place."
yeah.
So, and it wasn't anything like we weren't doing crazy stuff.
No.
We weren't like partying like crazy. It was literally just people hanging out with like seltzers, probably.
Basically, I remember just like watching so many melatonin practices at your house.
Yeah. And that was the thing, too, is it was all of that. My mom's house was like kind of this community central spot for a minute.
I played a show at your house.
Yeah, we played shows in my house. Like everybody knew where I lived.
Yeah.
Either between me or my brother or my parents.
Such a solid era.
And that was this weird spot where like bands needed to practice. They just play at my mom's house. Like, yeah, that's that era in my head. That's why I say, and I agree with Andrew where it says it comes in waves. Like that was my entry, was this like high point of what we'd say is a wave for me.
Yeah.
But like I know for you'd already been 2 years deep. You've already been on either side, if that was up or down or whatever. You've seen stuff before when I jumped in.
Yeah.
And then it still rode up for a little bit. Like
sure
that was
did.
a blast.
That was a fun
I don't want
era.
to harp on that for too long, but like for entry points, we both come in pretty solid.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's Devin.
There's me. Well, down the road from you at Highway 15, we had our shit going on 9th Avenue, right on Highway 15.
Hell yeah.
And Caustin probably did a twofer going to your house and coming to my house.
I definitely did before.
I forgot.
It's
you
weird
lived
that
over
didn't
there,
really like that. We didn't coagulate.
Well, that's like we weren't all like I was not very much friends in y'all's friend group, but we were all
You had
like,
your own thing.
amicable.
I was like, yeah, that's Jimmy. He's doing his own thing. We're doing
whatever
our
the fuck
thing.
he's doing. They're like, he just doesn't show up to school. He's a fucking loser.
Well,
I was like, yeah, you're right.
Andrew knows my story because he's been there since we were in 4th grade.
Aww.
Isn't that precious?
Aww. Was that show just show and tell?
Yeah, he showed me his privates, and I told him to put them away.
And I said, that's
But
pretty that's pretty good.
yeah.
I like those, Andrew. We should be friends for a while.
Hey, nice privates. Nice cock.
I get that a lot.
But I guess my first show would have probably been one of my uncle's band's shows when I was like 8. But like a first show that we're talking about would have been one Caustin booked at Woody's. And I had mentioned this during the last talk that is gone, but it was Melatonins. I remember Melatonins, and I remember a ska band called Kill Lincoln. And
Yes,
Pompo,
I do.
I think Pompo played too.
Yes. I know exactly the
Yeah.
show exactly.
And there was
what you're
like
talking
a
about.
hardcore band or something, or 2 hardcore bands, or 7 hardcore
They
bands.
were the
don't
reason I
know.
think we did our first weekender as Pompo, that ska band.
Really?
That was not my show. I will say I was there.
That
Oh,
would
that
have been
must have been
that
a-
would have been
that
a
was my
Pompo
show.
associate show.
Yeah.
Okay. But you were there though, and that's where I
Yes.
met you, Caustin.
Yes.
You were in your truck, and you said, "Yeah, you do look like your dad." you had worked for my dad at the time.
Yeah, your dad was like, it's like I leave work and then see you. I'm like, damn, I can't get over his face.
But like that was my first like local show where I was like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, there's actually people here that like this." And I remember at this point, I saw like one of our teachers at Myrtle Beach High School was at that show. And a bunch of like Dunes Club kids with Pompo shirts. I was like, Jimmy's doing something here. I was like, he's got these like preppy girls wearing
I told
his
you I
band's
wasn't friends with
shirts.
anyone, so I can
Yeah.
be friends with everyone.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then me and Andrew and Justin.
Little did they know they were watching a dude light his dick on fire. They
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
know anything about it.
But it was me, Andrew, and Justin is how we met Caustin. And then our like friends at Myrtle Beach High School, we were like, what the fuck are these Dunes Club kids doing here? This is supposed to be like our safe spot.
fucking kill
Like,
you.
They're not supposed to be at these punk shows. Like, this is where we can be stupid. This is where we can be ourselves. They're not supposed to be here. We're gonna get made fun of more. But that was where I met Caustin, and that's where I realized, hey, this is a thing that happens. And me and Andrew and Justin were like trying to start a band at that time, and you were part of that briefly. and I don't know what happened there, fizzled out. But our first show was at Rockin' Hard, the old Rockin' Hard, with this punk band from New York and one of the Ed Tanner bands, Sons of Adam, and that's where I entered the fight, I guess.
So, what was the first show you booked?
The first show I booked
from then.
Okay, the first show I booked would have had to be at Fat Cat, or not.
Really?
Sorry, not Good Day. I did that twice.
No, that's okay.
I did that on both conversations.
That was a weird that Fat Cat era was so short.
Yeah, it really was.
I don't know.
Just
We did a
like a
lot.
Woodies era.
It was just very dense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The first show I had to book would have been a Good Day. I can't pinpoint which one that might have been because there was like quite a bit at that time.
yeah, you pretty much ran Good Day. Like for most
Yeah,
of those
you
shows
were-
that I
you were
ever
the
heard
guy
about,
there.
you
I
were
was the
Good
guy.
Day.
I was the guy for Licks. Quinn was doing them for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then there was someone else doing some there. The first show we did, I did not book, but I think Quinn had us play. But I think it just kind of happened. Like, I think another band had asked us to like help them set up a show, and I was like, I might be able to get us in this one place because Kevin at Good Day already liked us, and I was like, okay, and he had like told us like come back whenever you want. So I like went up there and got lunch one day, and I just talked to him like would you just let me like book a show here, or how? I don't know how I worded it, and he was like, yeah, just let me know like what date you need and who's playing, and we'll take care of like everything really. And I think I made all those shows free.
Yeah.
I made all those shows free to try to get people to come out, and it worked sometimes. There was like one or two that it was
Yeah, because they
fucking
were in a
empty.
spot where they were willing to pay a little bit to have events.
Yeah, they would feed the bands too. It was awesome. They were the coolest people. They still are the coolest people. They don't do the restaurant anymore.
Yeah.
But
That's
your past tense was like, yeah,
yeah, they were
yeah, they were really cool until
until they closed. But no, they're still doing their.
What I wanted to
thing.
ask, coming off of what you said, and including what you said, and ignoring what you said. No, but so take that. What the first show that you went to? How'd you hear about it?
I heard about.
I know you mentioned how you heard about yours, but
I heard about the one that I went to at Woody's. I heard that from Justin. Justin invited me and Andrew, and I guess other people. And
word of mouth.
then we were there. Yeah, word of mouth.
Very nice. I was dragged along to a Hey Do show in Loris because it was Loris, and if y'all are familiar with
There's
the
nothing
boondocks of nothing out
There's
there,
nothing.
it's something to do on a
Hearing
weekend.
there's a show out there is kind of crazy to me.
It was
Yeah,
it
really.
was active because it was near things. That was their downtown area, and I was dragged along by my sister to a $5 show or a $3 show, whatever it would have been. Like it was dirt cheap because I was able to go.
With inflation, man.
Thanks.
That's
Obama.
like $1 million.
The first show I ever went to, I said it earlier, it was 100th and whatnot. Mike Klinsky invited me because he saw me posting. I think I might have been like a dumb 14-year-old kid talking shit to people online. Actually,
yeah.
I was a dumb 14-year-old kid. Has people have some issues. It happens. But Mike's like, hey, man, you should come to this show. And I went.
Hey man, your attitude on the internet is very aggressive.
Yeah.
Come out to the
punch
show.
this guy.
It wasn't even like that.
Get it out of your system.
It's like, I'm going to bring the angry dog, by the way.
Yeah. But no, I went and I never stopped.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
word of
basically,
mouth.
what we've all agreed on is word of mouth.
word of mouth.
Then, that was what worked then.
Yep.
Fast forward 10 years, 10, 12
well, fast
years.
forward to when you're booking shows.
Oh,
Fast forward to what we'll call the Beat Farm era.
Yep.
Is because I think that was a prime, long-standing option for bands.
It was.
Like, how did we get people to shows there? Because there were highs and there were a lot of lows at Beat Farm. And there was a lot of lows at Beat Farm for everybody who booked there.
Yeah.
It was not a singular booking party that ever experienced that low. We all had some stinkers.
That was when I wasn't. I did like two.
That
shows
was in
there.
between Kappa, I think.
That was like I
Yeah.
just quit Hallway Girl, and then I wasn't doing shit. I don't
Yeah.
even think I was going to shows for a little bit.
Because I think the only way I remember, because I was a part of Canopy Hands, Quinn's band, Turn Fort Full band, a punk band with Cody, and
Get Serious.
Yeah,
Oh,
Get Serious.
holy shit.
Yeah, and I was also a part of
Serious.
Tommy
I remember
Waterfall,
Get
all at
Serious.
one point.
Oh, yeah.
And,
So-
oh yeah, Tommy
Tommy
Waterfall.
Waterfall.
You were in seven. You were a lot.
I
of
still think
bands.
the Tommy Waterfall recordings are some of the best music to ever come
that,
out of
Dude,
the
I,
it
world.
is,
that,
though.
that shit was good.
Just
Underrated for
going
sure.
in, this is a slight tangent, sidebar, but we recorded it all at the Beat Farm, and each song we all just drank another beer, before we started recording the next song.
Oh,
We did it all in
yeah.
one shot. So like
Let's
as
go.
you listen through it, it's just a little bit drunker.
That's awesome.
But we through the Beat Farm era, the only way that we promoted across all 5 of those bands was just either the Myrtle Beach Shows page, our slight little voice in the Defend Pop Punk group on Facebook, Facebook in general, and maybe like Snapchat. Like there was not anything other than a digital footprint to back up what these shows were going to be. And like I said, we experienced a lot of flops for shows that should have done well, and also shows that probably deserve to be flops, like in terms of the way it was approached, the way it was promoted, and the way it actually worked out. Like we were doing a lot, so your density is too much.
But
we only did digital.
Like, whenever I would see a show, like I thought about it like this: like whenever I'd see a show or find out about a show, it was a flyer online. So that's all I thought you needed to do.
Yeah,
really.
Well, because it worked for you.
It worked for me.
It worked for you as a consumer to want
post
to go
a flyer
see it.
online, do the social media thing, send out invites on Facebook, and then like after that did work several times. Not all the time, not consistently, but it did work. And then like Facebook just like dropped off with reach.
Yeah,
and I didn't adapt.
Yeah, which is fair because I mean
we thought that was the new thing.
Yeah, that was the thing to do,
Yeah.
and I think maybe our dip in the scene is kind of playing a part with moving with technology at the time. Like, not to blame our downfalls on something else other than us, but like I think it played a part in us not adapting, like you say. Like I agree with that. That sucks, and it's probably true. But like I said, like the only shows we ever did was through Facebook. We didn't do paid advertising. We couldn't afford it.
I've still never seen a flyer in person for a show that wasn't mine.
Yeah, same. I mean, aside from the cover gig world, like I don't see flyers.
Yeah, you don't really see them.
I see flyers from the boys, like various things I'm associated with, but not directly. Like I see those.
I mean, I think like I've been in like other towns at record stores and shit like that, and I've seen like flyers for like something happening.
Yeah.
So I've always known it's like, okay, it's still like an option, but
And
I never really thought of like Myrtle Beach as like a good place to do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
well,
we
you just
really,
don't think, you see 100 million beach stores. You're like, where's your
think, like,
audience?
we just
Who
think-
is your audience?
we think, oh, it's all tourists. We forget that there's locals here too.
And we forget that people are willing to
People are willing
drive
to
if you're
drive if
fucking
there's-
annoying enough.
Yeah.
Because we
But-
know Myrtle Beach is kind of boring too. Don't we
Yeah.
want something to do?
Yeah.
So what did you guys see in the scene that made you guys say, hey, let's get organized. Let's 3 of us get together and let's capitalize on what's going on and do more with this.
Sure.
I think it was just seeing like, well, it was the Brick House show, and then it was the Fresh Brewed show. That was when we were like, okay,
It was just like a
something's
double
happening.
whammy of like
Yeah.
2 really good kind of new things.
We thought we lucked out at Brick House, and then it happened again with a new band.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, there's people here. There's people here that are about this.
Yeah. So tying it to just like my growth with it there is like I was only doing Fresh Brewed. I was not doing any other shows elsewhere because that was the one I knew my in, I knew my place. I had a calendar on my phone for all their events. Like I knew what was happening there. And I also was kind of just trying to help my friends when in bands that I owe just over years and years of playing with people. Like you kind of know what you have to like, oh yeah, it's about time I book you here. Stuff like that. Like once I started not just booking my band and I had that one in January booked, it's just like we'll promote it like normal, go to Devon's and promote it like normal. Something clicked where people were just like, well, there's other shit happening too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't pin
really
it to
don't-
why it's moving.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess it was just like, I just thought we lucked out with Brick House.
It felt like a luck
having that
out,
many
but
people there. And then a new band showing up, bringing that many people.
I really want to pin it to that. Is like that show in January got me excited to say like, holy shit, kids are back.
The Fresh Brewed show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that the one where we kind of all were just like, we should, his show was already booked and announced. Caustin's show was already booked and announced. And we knew, well, okay, if Devin's show that he booked alone at its new venue did really well, and his promotion was the way it was, and whether that was digital flyer, radio advertisement, like these new avenues, my show was branding it super hard as one thing, despite it being it or not, and having kids involved and like the younger crowd. we're like, well, Caustin, it's your turn. Like,
Yeah.
we're like, well, this is what we did, I guess. So,
So for me, like the shows that I went to last year were the Turn Forte shows at Fresh Brewed and the Windley shows.
yeah.
And then I kind of asked people if they wanted to, like, I would say, I don't know, bring new life into a band that was kind of, that never technically broke up, but wasn't really an active band anymore. And I had asked Devin and Connor about doing something with Hymns of Blasphemy with me and Chad,
Yeah.
without me even really asking Chad first. I knew Chad, because I knew Chad would be down.
Yeah.
And I had messages. Connor said last year, he's like, yeah, ask me after this day, and I forgot to ask him. And I was like, oh, here's my time. So I talked to Devin, and he's like, I'm down. And I talked to Connor, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. And I figured, okay, I need to start getting more involved because
It's weird just being a showgoer here.
Yes, I absolutely despise that.
Yeah.
Well, I hate bands only playing or only attending the shows they play.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I was like, okay, I'm the only one in my band that does not have a side project. I have to get involved, and that's just what I think as a friend of a musician and as a show attendee should be doing, bare minimum. I see people in other towns, other markets, not just in South Carolina, other states do this. So I'm like, why the hell is anybody here doing it? So all I did was just share the flyers on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
Post about it a couple of times. And I'm not taking, like, it's not me. I'm just doing what I think is the bare minimum for a friend to do, is just share a flyer, online. I didn't print anything yet, but I wanted to book a show. There was a tour that just happened. It would have happened on Saturday that I wanted to book in Myrtle Beach because, like, these bands are hard. I was like, I want to see my band play with these bands because I think it could work. And one of the touring bands was like, yes. Another band was like, no, never mind. Like, all right, cool. I already got the venue booked.
Yeah.
We're doing something. Something is happening. And I think I'd either asked you, Jimmy, or I asked Devin about this circuit band. Because the flyer said, like, I think it says like Charlotte/Myrtle or something.
Charlotte, Myrtle.
I was like, who's
hardcore
this?
punk.
Yeah. Who is this? And one of y'all told me what the deal was, and I was like, all right, cool. And I listened to the whole demo. It's a 6-minute long demo.
Yep.
I was like, this is like sick. I mess with this.
Fucking
like,
unreal.
I'm obsessed with this shit. And I messaged them and they don't fucking know me. They're like kids, and they're like, yeah, we'll play. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got flyers. I knew Devin was going to have his show. I literally did a strongman competition in North Carolina in Jacksonville, competed, drove down here, dropped Sydney off, my wife, and then changed and drove to the show. I had flyers printed already. And this is not like a knock at Devin. I did not have a lot of flyers printed because I'm like, Myrtle Beach, 40 people, 50 people, maybe.
Yeah.
Like watching the band, Clean Sweep opened that one, right?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, like this is cool.
Yeah, that was the night I showed up literally because I was like, I got to go see Windley.
Yeah.
But I'm really, like, my real motive that night was like, what is this venue about?
Yeah, yes.
And I got Jose there for the same reason, to shoot a little bit of, like, I don't think was hired for anyone that night, but he's like, I'm going to go shoot the show at Brick House because it looks legit.
He messaged me. He was like, can I film your bands? I said, absolutely.
So I was going for the motive of, like, what can Turn Fort, like, get our feet wet with?
I feel you.
I was like, is this a venue
I was,
Devin's testing it out. I've kind of communicated that, like, let me know how this is. Let me know how it's going, how the process is. I can't believe you got Baby Yaga and they didn't hit me up. Like, I was like, I want to see this thing. Like, this is fucking sick.
They hit us up asking for that exact date.
Yeah.
And I was like, we've already got it. Y'all can hop on. I was going to get a Charleston band anyway.
Yeah.
So it just worked out.
But I remember, like, I was after lifting weights and shit all day, I was like tired, but I was like, Devin's in my band.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a fucking asshole. Devin and Connor are in my band. I'm going to be a fucking asshole if I don't go to the fucking band, the show my friends, my band members are playing in.
Yeah.
What? I can't ask you guys to be in my band and I not go to your fucking band. What kind of a dickhead am I, you know?
What the fuck, man?
Well, let me ask you, two-part question, really. Like, one, how would you convince other people in bands to get more involved in helping out and stuff?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I won't answer directly, but I will get there. Is that okay? You say you have a two-parter?
Yeah.
What's the second part?
Well, I was going to say...
Answers first.
It's going to... The first part is its own thing, and the second part is pretty much, like, more back into promoting. But, like, so far, like the plan to get the people,
All right,
just the attendees, consistent with it.
So Devin's having a show January. I'm like, Devin's in my band, Connor's in my band. I want to promote my show. What's an easy way for me to promote my show that's not solely based on social media? I'm going to print flyers. People are going to be there. I'm going to hand them to them.
Yeah.
So I did that. Not just because I booked the show, but because my band is on the show. How many times have you three played a show and it fucking sucked?
Yeah.
Nobody's there. Nobody's there. The local band does not promote shit.
Yeah.
You show up, you're playing to their parents.
It's happened before.
The band members are outside. What the fuck? That fucking sucks. So it's 100% that me doing that was like selfish.
Yeah.
It was me being selfish. I do not want to play a lame ass fucking show.
Yeah.
The last show I played, lame as fuck.
You feel like
I had
you're just
people
like
hyping me up
too
saying,
old to be doing this.
That's how I feel now. It's like, it's going to happen, but I don't want it to happen.
Exactly.
I
I
want to
had
do
people
everything I can
hyping
to
me
make
up
it not
for
happen.
a show that I played in Florence, and a friend that was the promoter in Florence my friend who was a promoter in Florence, he did not book the show. We went. I don't even say the promoter's name because I'm not going to say his name. Went out there. Show sucked ass, dude. Fucking terrible. And that shit pissed me off. I was like, oh, we're never going to play a dog shit show again. So
Exactly.
I'm like, I got to put flyers in hands. Not only are you, I think local bands, regardless, should be promoting the shows they play, but you're promoting yourself as a band. Like, why would you not want to?
Yeah.
And then when I heard Circuit, I was like, okay, I would definitely want to play a show with them.
And they were a band who printed their own flyers and distributed their own without asking.
Without even
suggesting
asking.
that, I didn't know
it.
that was a thing until they're like, hey, we're dropping off flyers. And that was what I used.
So at Devin's show, I only had Devin the promoter, I only had 40 flyers on me. The next show I brought more.
Yeah.
And dude, there was 100. So Devin's show had 90 people. I was like looking at Devin, I was like, dude, this is crazy. 90 people, at a new venue.
I expected 10.
Respectively new.
Yeah.
Respectively, it was a venue we've never done anything with before. People from our era haven't done anything with. And I was like, this is cool.
The promoters loved it. The bar people loved it. They want to do more. We're doing more.
Yeah, I passed all the flyers I had. I was like, damn, I got to print more. Went to the next show, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, there's 150 people, and I want to say probably 90% of them I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Children.
I met people who I've only heard of that night because they're old heads who were just like, just saw punk show. And I was like, I'm going to be there.
Super dope. And those people from that show came to our show the other day. But I was like, this band is crazy. I got caught up in the moment. I freaking mosh. I feel like an old bastard with all these little children fucking thrown around. It was crazy. And me, Devin, and our friend Jesse just like attacked people with flyers. Hey, you guys like Circuit set? Circuit's playing
again.
Circuit's playing again with these bands at a new spot. Come check it out. And I passed out all those flyers. And continue on. And I was like, okay, I've passed out 190 flyers. Like literally 150 at one, 40 at the other. I can do more. I can do more.
Then you didn't stop.
And I didn't fucking stop. I was like, as maybe it's just because I was a promoter and a member in a band playing. I'm like, what as a promoter do I expect from bands?
Yeah. And I mean, that's
right.
What do you want a local band to do? Is their fucking job.
What did I fucking do?
Which is get people in the place.
I printed off. I had 1,050 flyers leave my fucking hand before Saturday. That was including the show. That was me going to places. Hey, can I leave flyers for a punk/metal show here? No questions asked. And was it a punk/metal show? Yes.
Who the fuck cares?
Was every band a punk or metal band? Not necessarily, but they fit in that wheelhouse. Yeah. So I was like looking at businesses. I'm like, okay, where would a person that's like in our realm, let's just say alternative as an umbrella term, a motherfucker that listens to the Smiths, somebody that listened to fucking Slipknot as a kid, somebody that watches fucking anime, reads manga, has a freaking piercing. Where are these people going to go? Where have I been to business type wise that these people have been at? Coffee shops, vape stores, liquor stores, record stores, collectible stores.
Games.
You go to fucking Walmart. What is there's goddamn Nirvana records and fucking Metallica records. Like, okay, I'm sticking flyers in there. Somebody's gonna see it, or somebody's gonna throw it away. It's gonna be on the floor. Somebody's gonna see this damn thing.
Yeah.
I went from fucking places from Myrtle's Inlet to North Myrtle Beach, dude, in spans of like weeks. I had free time. I'm driving. I'm going to a Books A Million. Oh, there's a bunch of records. I'm putting them in here. I go to a Food Lion or a Walmart or a Target, and I see magazines catered to musicians. I'm putting flyers in between the magazines. I told Devin, whenever the circuit show happened, and I was already passing out flyers, I was talking to Jimmy about it. We were talking most of the night, and we added Devin to it. We made a group chat, added Devin to it. And I was like updating them, hey, just drop off these amount of flyers at this place, this amount of flyers at this place.
And I was just beginning my job at this new place I started at, and I was just like, I don't know what I can do to help this.
I was just like, I had the free time, I'm going to do it.
I feel so bad.
I made a post on Facebook, and I asked somebody, I said, they made places to recommend me to put flyers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And an old head, his name's like so-and-so, really good dude, backed hard, much love to him. He said House of Blues. I was like, how am I going to do that?
Which I want to know, just what that crossover is from that date alone, putting out flyers. I genuinely don't know.
I went to so many businesses that day, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to House of Blues tonight. I went home for a couple hours, was like, print out flyers, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I'm going. And I was like, okay, do I pass these flyers out? Do I get there before doors and pass these flyers out to people in the line, or do I wait till after doors and put them on their windshields?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, damn, what if I accidentally touch a car that has a fucking car alarm?
Yeah.
Hell with it. I went up there, and I put 200 flyers on people's cars. It was for a metalcore show. I think Parkway Drive was playing or something. Not my style of metalcore, but whatever, respectable. There's a crossover there.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll do this. I put out 200 flyers, and this cop kept going up and down the aisle, and I was like, ooh, this is kind of sketchy. I think he's gonna ask me, tell me to get out of here. I was like, I'm just gonna go. And I kept going back to the places that I put flyers before. Hey, can I bring flyers here? They're like, yeah, you already did. Your flyers are gone now. Boom, put out more flyers there. I went to a couple of places that they said that people took the flyers. Man. And then I would go to places that was the end of February. I think.
That had been through all February.
But there was one time that I had it was the circuit show. I'd pass out flyers to people. I was still at Fresh Brewed talking and BSing, and I saw people's picture, people's tweets of my flyer, not the JPEG image, a fucking picture of my flyer in someone's hand where people said, so-and-so sent me this. I was like, what? This is crazy. I don't know this person, but through a couple of degrees of separation, they have my flyer in my hand that I just left my hand 20 minutes ago. Yeah. This is crazy. I'm like, okay, that's me as a promoter. And as a band member, as a band playing locally, I got homies that I want to come to my show to have fun, right? Why would you not want to tell your friends to come see your band play live?
Yeah.
You know? So I started filming our Hymns of Blasphemy practices on my phone vertically. And it'd be 15 minutes. And I had a video editing app on my phone. I would upload the 15-minute long video, and I would go through the whole song. I would split the video, delete the back half, save the video, and then I would go back to the project file, hit undo, delete the front half, and save the video. So I was doing that to clips. Instagram Reels are a minute long. I was like, okay, I hate seeing a repetitive thumbnail. What can I do? And me and Chad and Devin started making memes.
I think that worked.
Kevin Hart holding his hands up, put a flyer there. Fucking Dale Earnhardt Sr. Whatever. The flyer was on there some
Chris
sort
Jericho
of way.
with the list.
Chris Jericho with the list. The videos are they're still on our reels or whatever, but they're not on our profile grid anymore. But any fucking way, every other day I was posting something, and I was like, all right, I've got. I would take our songs. I'd be like, all right, today's intro. Today's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. I'm like, all right, going back. Intro's only so and so long. We're going to the second song, you know? And I kept doing that with different graphics. How many fucking people brought that shit up to me on Saturday?
Really?
Yeah.
So many people were talking about it.
I was showing Kyle some video, my drummer Kyle, some video from the show. He's like, oh, I know that song from Reels. Like, oh yeah,
sick.
I heard that one
That's
on their
sick.
Instagram.
Well,
He like recognized
you two,
your music.
like, not it's like, I don't want to say subconsciously, but you two are like an inspiration for that because Devin said that you took a couple videos of Windley sets at Fresh Brewed.
Dude, I
And told him, hey,
I
use
said,
this for
use
social
this
media.
shit.
And I was using those every week
Okay.
until I got the Jose videos.
So I was like,
took videos
no offense,
for.
I got
So,
the Jose videos.
we got home from our tour where Jose was shooting video of Clementine every night on his camera. He brought his camera on tour to shoot the other band. And they're not guys who do that. So we were getting little Samsung videos that were losing res when they were sent to us. Like, we were working with not a lot. And so my whole mindset coming home from that tour is like, we got no video content for Turn Fort coming home. Like, now my only goal is to not have a show that I go to have bands not have that.
Yep.
So for y'all's show, I told you explicitly, like, I'm sending you videos, use the fuck out of them. Like, I don't give a shit if you tag me, use these videos.
Which is great. Like, that worked perfectly.
Because that's what works now.
Yeah, well, Turn Forte is an active band. Windley is an active band. Hymns of Blasphemy played one show, which I don't count anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, Saturday was our first show.
Yeah.
Is what I counted it as.
Yeah.
I'll ask the guy that filmed our set to delete the footage of the first one. Fuck it. Not real. I was like, okay, we're in the phase of learning our songs. Really. Writing our songs, learning them, perfecting them, I guess you could say. We're not a band that has a demo out. We're not a band that has recordings out. How the fuck am I going to promote our band?
You have every
without
tool.
without just annoying people with one certain flyer. I'm filming our goddamn practices.
Yeah.
And I did it a couple of times beforehand, filming from different angles, back left of me and hearing how things would sound. I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Dude,
Right there's the sweet spot.
Yes,
taken us
right here.
Right there behind
Right here behind Andrew.
Yeah.
Perfect spot to have your phone on a fucking box for cymbal stands or whatever.
I've
had it right there.
The unit
didn't work.
over there, we were there for maybe 4 or 5 years in this plaza in storage units. We knew the sweet spot in every fucking storage unit we'd been in here because we record practices. We record every new song that we do. We do it from different angles. We know whose phone is better, whose phone is worse, whose phone works under better quality. Like, we would do a phone in a guitar case with a sound muffler panel on top of it and put that down the hallway. Like, okay, that sounds like that. Okay, well, Jimmy's right besides the snare drum sounds fucking better, so we're just going to use that for every practice.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like,
I've filmed from behind Devin's bass amp, and I've also had Connor record from behind his drums.
yeah.
Dude,
I'll put
it
a
sounds,
voice memo on top of the monitors there.
Yeah,
too.
dude, sounds like
it's
a
crazy.
different band.
And it's worth
doesn't sound
doing
right.
and sharing because
It
if you
is.
don't have a lot, also there's a whole different meaning behind songs between recorded and
Yes.
live performances. And as Turn Forte, like, we experienced that easily because our record is a version of us then.
Right.
Like, that is a very organic, natural version of these songs. But like what we do live, whole different world.
Sure
And
is.
so when we
You're telling
document
me.
it and release it, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, who
Yeah.
is that band?
I've
Well,
learned that learning those songs. No, it's not that anymore. We changed it.
Yeah, it's like, we don't do that anymore.
Well,
Where did you learn this? Oh, you're wrong.
I just was uploading stuff all the time. I recorded a set of us one time, and the app that I had, I could separate the audio.
For sure.
And I did. And I uploaded it as a demo type thing on YouTube with like our lyrics or whatever.
Yeah, that's all you
But
need.
then I had a friend ask me, because like when I started listening to bands like this, I got more involved in like hardcore or like metal or whatever. I was listening to bands with shitty demos, loving them.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite demos was a local band. I'm not gonna say their names; people make fun of them, I guess. But they recorded their demo on a Rock Band microphone in a living
Perfect.
room. I loved it,
Perfect.
absolutely loved it. I was like, I don't give a shit if it's fucking polished or not,
That's the whole
And
point.
I was like posting all the time, and I wouldn't do it every day, but I found every fucking band member,
Yeah.
and I was tagging the band members in the flyer. So like it'd be like, if anybody hasn't seen them on our Instagram. You watch a video, it starts off, depending on how the song is, if it's like no vocals at all, a flyer pops up, boom, and it's like the meme flyer. And then like 10 to 15 seconds later, there's like a 10 to 15 second gap of us playing, and you'll see the back of my head, Chad or Devin or whatever. And then after that, boom, the regular flyer pops up.
Yeah.
And then 10 to 15 seconds later, if the song's still going, the regular flyer pops up again. The meme flyer is to grab your attention. The regular flyer is what I want you to fucking see. Because the meme flyer, you might not be able to see all the specific details of the flyer itself inside of the image. And I mean, I think that I had like two different things working in my favor.
Yeah.
And I want to say it's being the promoter that wanted to have a good show and being a band playing that show that wanted to fucking play a good show.
Yeah,
To have people playing out there. Passing out flyers helped a ton. Social media was my backup. It was not my priority like it used to be.
Yeah.
And I think
Which is fucking good because I, being in my limitations through this time period between January and now, like, Turn 4's got, you're doing so much stuff on the back and the side. Like, my priorities are split now pretty evenly across the board where my time is insane. Like, my time spent needs to be insane. I can only do social media to a certain point, which is why with that, and I specifically will pinpoint February, like, you being on the ground, me and Devin manipulating social media to how we need between the Myrtle Beach Shows accounts, the actual proper accounts, you getting banned from using social media.
I got banned on Facebook.
Kicking our ass to say, like, y'all gotta step it up. Like,
but even before I got banned, like, I'm still like, I have like 2 weeks left or something like that. You guys were sharing the flyers without me tagging you in them.
Always.
Oh yeah, of course.
Posting the flyers without me tagging you in them.
Because I feel the same way you do. It's like, I'm playing a show. I want fucking people to be there.
I'm not even playing the show, and I just want to go to a cool show.
Yeah. It's like, I want this to work. It's a new space. It's kind of unorthodox.
There's always
we got to make sure people are gonna be here.
Yeah,
and there's always gonna be this, like, you're gonna need a personal motivator, no matter what. Like, every show can't be like that. Obviously, everyone knows that. Like, if we book a show for bands that none of us are in, the motive's going to be a little different.
A little bit,
and that doesn't change. Like, the outcome of it doesn't have to be different, but like our personal motives, like, obviously if Turn 4's on a show, like, I'm going to be like, hey, this is the only thing I'm thinking about every single day. And 311 show, like, this is the only thing that is crossing my mind aside from waking up my family and going back to bed. Like that's your motivators for it, which, not that those need to be bigger, less, or more important or less. It's like, those are the things that are igniting something under us. I'm just hoping that translates to the fucking bands that we're trying to put on their own to be like, hey, look what we did. You can do that.
I'm sending flyers because Brandon Ritchie, who played with us on Saturday, he sent Caustin a stack of flyers. Like
200 flyers.
Yeah, 200 flyers is next day air, basically. So I'm sending stacks of flyers to Charleston for the shows that Windley's doing, for the show I'm doing with Turn 4.
And Brandon Ritchie's
got
band
2 people
hopped on
board.
Like
pretty last minute too.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 weeks maybe.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Because it was after
we were hesitant. We were just like, I don't know if we should have another band.
I wasn't about it really.
Yeah.
And it was like after Valentine's Day, he hopped on and he was like, hey, like, thank you so much. And I was like, look, man, no guarantees. I don't know how this is going to go. Really, I just
no guarantees. Y'all play first. We'll
figure it out there.
Happen.
And he was like, all right. He's like, what's your address? I'll send you some flyers. I was like, oh, okay, dude. It was like 3 p.m. that day, and the next day, like, I went outside. It was like 11. On my front porch is a fucking box with 200 flyers in it from Brandon.
Yep.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He took a flyer that, like, I shittily made, put it on the back of put it on a postcard, and I was like, damn, this is cool. I flip it over. What's on the other side? A fucking flyer promoting his band.
Yeah.
That's genius. Why are bands not wanting to do that? Not only does he want to promote the show, he wants to promote his band.
Yeah.
Make fans of his band.
Going back to like flyers and shit, like we stayed at someone's house in Charlotte, and it was pretty much a house that was a hub for like 2 or 3 bands. And we played at Milestone, and it was like, it was okay. It was cool. Played Milestone. Cool spot. Wasn't like an incredible turnout, but it was still fun. But like, we got to their house, and he was like, next time y'all play here, play with us, because we promote the hell out of our shows. And he told us what they did, and the big thing he said was flyers.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, flyers? And I was like, okay, flyers. All right. He's saying flyers. And then I was like, okay, well, now it's working.
Yeah.
And I saw like videos of their shows, and they were fucking packed. Like, lines out the door, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's
flyers.
no excuse.
It's easy. It's so cheap to get flyers made at Office Depot.
Way cheaper than I remembered.
Yeah.
I get being in a band and that not being your priority, but like, if you're a band whose priority isn't something like that, I feel like you can't be mad when no one shows up to your shows.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you can't be entitled if you don't, like, it's not
shooting
something
yourself in
that's
the
just
foot.
given to you.
Yeah.
And, we've got a few events that pass through Fresh Fruit so often that are like, they get announced 2 weeks before they happen, and you're just like, well,
it's crazy.
When it happens, you're like, well, what did you expect? Like, what did you do for this? Yeah. And they're like, well, I announced it a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, well, I can't help you with that because I need to see that this thing I'm unaffiliated with has some fucking drive behind it.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it to y'all, but I think I sent it to someone else that I was telling. Like, so many people like just scroll on their phones.
Yeah,
like, they're not like, you can scroll past a flyer. Like, you're not gonna really pay attention to what the fuck you're looking at.
Yeah, it's not something you have to think about. Do I throw this away? Or shit, this is still my wallet. Oh my god,
it's not like
I had a friend today tell me, he said, "You're in a band." Well, I'm sorry, they said you're in a band. What? I've been sharing this shit nonstop, being an annoying fucking asshole.
There's always going to be someone.
There's always
who
somebody,
see it. And that's
not
perfect.
going to see it. Yeah,
because that's the market. That's your gap that you need to fill. And to like not just dredge on and on, but like we're clearly seeing shit that works.
Yes,
we're clearly seeing that like things that we do, if we're passionate about it, can work. So like now we've gotten together to make that happen. Will it be repeatable? We're always going to ask that question. Me and Caustin talked for like 30 minutes when he came the day of the show picking up gear from me. Like, hey, dude, I'm shooting for 40. And I was like, dude, I'm shooting for 40 for you. Like, what I expect when I get there to help with doors is like 40 people. If we can do that, we can pay bands.
We had about 60 before the show started.
Yeah. Well, that was the conversation me and Caustin were sitting at.
I was still
just
with
like
40.
Yeah.
We had 240.
Yeah.
240. That's fucking crazy.
We had 60 like an hour before the show started.
Yeah.
And like people were steadily coming in the whole fucking night.
Yeah. So, and that was us being like, one, we are going into anything we do, we have to play it. We have to lowball ourselves essentially. Like, we need to not get an ego behind it because, like, what the fuck? What's the point?
Yeah.
Because it can all just
like,
stop.
there's a lot of bands in this area that have popped up and kind of seen their downfall just due to egos. Like, just because you're a band playing a show does not mean that the people who have come to your show before will be there. Yeah. And you can't get into that mindset of like, well, people will come for us.
Well,
like, I guarantee if I announce a show for like something in July and I don't talk about it until the week before, no one's gonna fucking show up, even if they like my band.
Well, I get a little frustrated. Like, I don't know about in y'all's realm of like, and we listen to the same music. I mean, I listen to stuff you guys are interested in and play, but I'm more on like the hardcore, like metalcore side, I guess. But I see bands pop up that all of a sudden just get like really popular. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's not necessarily because of how they
like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's not necessarily because of how they sound. It's because of who they're friends with.
That'll be
and how many friends they have that support their band.
Yeah.
I've dropped EPs before and 2 people share it. I'm like, come on, what the fuck?
Well,
these people, it's like hundreds of retweets. All of a sudden, this band's blowing up.
You know,
so I'm like, I'm putting like, if I don't have like, I have you guys. Yeah. And I have Hymns of Blasphemy and like a select few people in Myrtle Beach that like back what I want to do and what we want to do as a collective. But I don't have like a fucking squad behind me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck you. I'm putting myself out there.
That's the kind of the curse of this area. A lot of people say is just because like name bands that have popped off here. Okay. 4 or 5 across a long time. Name bands that left here that popped off. Okay, maybe 4 or 5. All right, well, name bands within 3 hours of here who have popped off. Okay, so like 10 or 15 or so across the years. It's like, what is it? It's like, well, they probably got people behind them. They're friends with people. There's cliques. There's always going to be that. But that doesn't rule out the 5 or so that we've had here that have rightfully or unrightfully done that. Like, you know, I don't think... I don't know. I could get depressing and go into this whole mind thing I've been thinking about recently, but
Myrtle Beach
it's not impossible.
Is like we're straight positive right now.
Yeah,
we are on like a positive wave, and we are capitalizing on the positivity around that.
And it's been nice because it seems super well received, and like willing to be received.
It was between the time of the we were all 3 of us were stoked on the Brick House show, but between that week and the circuit show, we made like a Google form encouraging people to start other bands.
And so far, there's at least 2 bands.
2 bands have started from it.
2 bands that we can confirm.
2 bands from the spreadsheet, and then like fucking 2 to 3 from just those past 2 shows. Like unaffiliated to the spreadsheet.
You know, this kid I've been talking to on Instagram, he's like a 15-year-old kid named Simon, said he's starting a power balance band. He was at the circuit show. Yeah. He followed Hymns of Blasphemy before he even knew who Caustin was. Not that I have any fucking thing, but it's like following Turn to 4 Day not knowing who Jimmy is.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. But he said he's starting a band.
Yeah.
That's cool as shit. I love that. Yeah. And he's not from the Google form. at all.
Yeah,
But
probably,
like that, like,
probably think it's lame as shit that we did a Google form because
Yeah.
we're old dudes.
yeah. People around here, like, or in general, want shows. You can't have more shows or more quality shows without having the bands to play
Yeah.
those shows.
And that's been-
Devin is in 4 fucking
That's been
bands.
fucking great.
Connor, our drummer, he's in fucking like 3 or 4 fucking bands. Chad's in 2 bands.
Yeah.
Golly, people gotta fucking work. They can't fucking take off every fucking day.
I had to quit my job.
Yeah, Devin quit his fucking job.
I
We
tried.
need more bands.
I was at one point in 5, and I just at this point, I have so many hopes and things in the background that we work on with Turn Forth that I don't know. I could never probably be in another band at the same point.
Yeah.
But that's where I am. But my drummer is in 3 fucking out of town bands,
Yep.
along with cover
Jesus
band in
Christ.
town, and like Jose travels frequently for other bands. Like these dudes are doing it too, in and out of our scene. Like
So we need-
I've just like settled on my things that I'm really honed in
Yeah.
on, but like all the dudes I'm surrounded by are still doing it. So it's like we can't be it forever.
Yeah.
like
There's like a select group of people that are all the bands. I mean, the
Yeah.
Storgians we're in right now. How
It's
many
always
fucking
been that
bands
way.
were here at
There's
one
like
point?
3 or 4 bands out here.
I had a Storgian here for like 4 years, you
Yeah.
know? There's always been bands here. It's always the same fucking people.
Yeah.
Nothing against that, but we need new people in here.
Yeah. We're getting
There's, like,
older.
We are
There's no
getting
new
older.
bands if we're getting older.
Like, us,
People
we
are
are
gonna
the old.
succeed
We are
at
the
some
old
point.
heads now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks to say.
But you know what's nice about that though? Is getting to move to this like, hey, we fucking know what it's been like for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
We've seen the swells of it. Like, we're here to help your new garage band, your new grunge, or whatever project you're doing, and you're young and you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm too fucking pretentious to let a show be bad. So I'm going to be whatever I can to tell you what you should do right and avoid the mistakes of like whatever that may be. You're going to tell them advice on like, okay, well, if we're going to book you, you got a flyer. Like, here's 20
have
bucks.
to,
You
yeah.
go print this shit or give me my 20 bucks back. Like, or you're not on the show. You know?
We've like all 3 of us have been talking about this, since January or whatever, about changing the way we approach things, and that's like, I've always bitched about why the fuck are local bands not promoting themselves?
Yeah.
Right?
So we're not allowing
Oh my
that
God.
anymore.
So
If-
something I want to touch on because I haven't really explored it too much
I've
with
gotta
y'all
pee again.
together.
I'm listening.
You're good. Is the fact that, especially these past few days, which I don't know when this comes out, but if you follow Myrtle Beach Shows
Tomorrow, I'm literally
Instagram,
going. People who listen day of, first of all, thank you, but I am literally going home and editing this and uploading it.
so
But go ahead.
the thing that I think fucking works and the thing that we've seen all week leading up and post this show is creating and witnessing FOMO, the fear of
Yes.
missing out. And what I maybe maliciously love is the fact when people are pissed that they missed a show. I want people to be fucking bummed the fuck out if they missed a show, because that means we did something right.
Right.
By creating something that they're now mad about not
Yeah.
going to. It's like, well, that sucks you didn't go to that one, but guess what? Here's the next 5 we've got.
Yeah.
You have to be at one if you don't want to be like bummed about this shit. Like the fact that every day, it's Monday now, so this comes out on Tuesday. Our show is Saturday. I'm still sharing stories of people posting videos of that show because they're still like, holy shit, this was such a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back to real life and this blows. Like,
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's cool seeing like people in the local community get hype about it, but it's like really dope seeing people that I've never, like I said earlier, I've never seen before talking about it. And then people from out of town like, damn, Myrtle Beach is bumping right now.
Like, I see something happening.
Me, Jimmy, and Devin, I know we've had like our own 3 like shows this year, but I could already say, fuck you guys. It's a collective already. You know,
Yeah.
it has been. Since the first show, we started getting hit up. The second show, people are like, holy shit, you know. There's 150 people at Fresh Brew right now for a new band that's never played Myrtle Beach, but they're from Myrtle Beach.
yeah.
We're getting hit up. And then people see like this. Dude, literally
Like,
the
sorry
show,
guys, we're booked.
I was outside talking to my mom, smoking a cigarette. I got 3 fucking friend requests because Tyler Dorman, sweetheart with a killer mustache, guitar player for Your Spirit Dies, posted and said something along the lines of when Greenville, South Carolina has Jose, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina has Caustin. He said there's 200 people here right now at the show before the first band even started. Mm-hmm. I literally, people said, holy shit, like, yeah, that's cool. 3 friend requests for people in bands.
Yeah.
I know they're going to hit me up soon.
Yeah, exactly.
I've talked about this earlier this week. Last week. We've turned down more.
Yeah, when we first started that Instagram page, we were like, we all said, yeah, DM us, and we really quickly did.
Oh man,
we've turned down so many shows. Unfortunately, it sucks.
Well, do you think that with all the excitement, and I'm sure what's lined up for the rest of the summer, do you think it could get to a point where you could book just out of town bands?
I will never book just out of town bands.
I don't think you can.
I won't.
That's kind of a moral hill. I think you gotta.
I can't do that.
Decide on early, because if you're not involving your local scene, you can't support your local scene.
That's fair.
And so I think, yes, while you can maybe get a nice package from out of town, they got to make room. If that's a buy on spot, you got to have local support. And that's from a fundamental local support, not just the band themselves.
And I think that in our side of the Myrtle Beach music scene, I don't mean people that are old heads at the bar, people in their 50s and stuff, but with us, people see these bands have good shows, good crowd reactions, and they're like, damn, I want to fucking have a band.
I want to figure that out.
There could be some kid that never been to a show in his life or something, comes to the Turner Forte show and is like, yo, I like this kind of music. I want to be in a band like this.
Yeah, and be
or
like,
a kid goes,
fucking do it so I can play with you, please.
Yes,
dear God,
you do it. We can have. You're tired of mixed bills. You have a band like
this. You tell me you want an all emo bill, then be an emo band.
Be an emo band, yeah. Or they go to a Windley show, they're like, damn,
I fucking love fast punk.
This is fast paced shit. I love
this. Is dog shit. I want to make dog shit.
This shit makes me want to eat fucking fried mozzarella sticks. God damn it! Or they see Hymns of Blasphemy and they're like, I want to whoop someone's ass.
I want to throw up.
I want to throw up while I'm playing in the band. I'm going to start a band like this. That little kid, man. I say little kid. He's 15, but I think of people as children, but seeing him come up to me afterwards, talking to me at the merch table about him starting a band. Oh my God.
I just love people being excited about it. It's so selfish to say, but I love when people support what I do.
Yes.
And I love when people support the idea of the shit in the umbrella of what I do. Because I'm just
it feels good.
It
feels like
it's not a selfish thing to say.
No.
I like to feel supported. Well, it's now all of us are supporting each other, and in turn have this blanket of support we've been experiencing, which we have to remember is not there because it will always be. It's there because we work for it.
Right.
So it's only going to be there if we continue to work for it. We can't get comfortable with it, but they're there if you get them. There's fish in the ocean if you catch them.
Yeah, word of mouth travels fast for us.
It goes.
When Myrtle Beach people will say Myrtle Beach is bad.
Sure, it probably was. If you had a bad time, valid.
Yeah, right. Someone would say, oh, Myrtle Beach is bad. And you're like, it's kind of weird. We're in a lull right now.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, nobody's hitting us up. That's weird, isn't it? But then Myrtle Beach is good. And all of a sudden, holy shit, our fucking phones are going off the damn hook. Everybody wants to be here right now. Word of mouth travels fast.
Yeah.
Travels so fast. I'm telling you, mid-show, posts are going up. Stories are going up. People are tagging bands.
Yeah.
Brandon and Richie said they sold them, they almost sold out of all their merch.
Yep.
And that was a band that hopped on 2.5 weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
That's crazy. January, we didn't know that we were going to have fucking shows lined up all the way through the end of June with more that we haven't even announced yet.
Yeah.
We didn't know that.
And now we've got
crazy
rolling.
shit happening.
And now we're gonna be like, so wait, when's our band gonna be able to play?
Yeah,
we're fucked.
It's crazy. We can do more.
Yeah.
I don't want to have my band be the band, but
the scene will have it.
Yes.
And we are not the scene. We are not all the Myrtle Beach shows that'll exist. There needs to be more than us. And it's not some gatekeepy shit. We're just guys doing what we want to. We're playing and booking shows with bands we want to book and bands we want to play with. Just because we don't book you doesn't mean you won't get booked here.
Yeah.
It's just
it's very easy.
We're curating right now because we know from our past 2 years what is working.
It's
we're kind of working with what works.
I think that if people getting involved, it's just the bare minimum.
Dude, if you
don't have to be in a band to be in the scene.
No,
you can start a fucking podcast.
I had people ask about what they can do.
A newsletter or something.
I had people asking me at the door, just what can I do to help? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, do you want to do photos? What do you do? They're like, no, I don't do anything. Do y'all need help with anything? Running sound. I don't know how to do it, but I learn. Or do you need the lights? And I'm like, well, we need a fucking street team.
That's what we need.
Feet on the ground.
That's what we need.
If you message me tomorrow,
Consider
I will
this
give you
an
stuff
announcement.
To do.
Yeah.
We need
straight up. Let's do it right now. Consider it an announcement.
Consider it an announcement.
I will speak over Mr.
tomorrow.
Jimmy right now. We need a street team. And you can message either of us as a group.
Any of us. Message
or
Windley.
individually, and we will discuss something to be worked out. But we need to have more people that are not around, specifically high school type people that are in colleges, people that don't even know there's a local Myrtle Beach music scene that's not at House of Blues, to be involved. And that could be me giving you a bunch of flyers, you give them to your friends and their friends, etc., or me giving you flyers and you posting them on social media consistently. We will work something out. If you, I will pay if you were to like, oh, I'm passing out flyers for this show. I'll pay for you to get into a Windley show. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
My thing is like, if they're people that want to help, we're in no position to hire people to do things, but there are incentives like getting in the shows, or
having a good time,
being a part of this. Like,
You want a
we're
Windley
going to
shirt, I'll give you a
incentivize
shirt.
your involvement.
Yeah.
Whether that, it most likely won't be financial, but we're going to incentivize your involvement to stay in this scene and to like bring others into the scene. Like,
it's that first
you
step.
want to pass out flyers and you're dead broke? Call me.
Yeah,
Message
I'll pay.
me.
I will buy.
We'll buy you flyers.
I will print them, cut them, and drive them to your house.
I've been talking to you guys about it. I'm like, how? Because from my perspective, I obviously am a grown man, and I don't look like, I'm not the kind of guy that's
You're
gonna
gonna be
walk
rolling
up.
up on a 15-year-old.
I'm not gonna roll up on a 15. I'm not gonna roll up on a.
I'm here for your daughter.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll up to somebody and be like, "Hey, here's a flyer." They're gonna be like, "Who the fuck's this weird ass dude trying to give me a flyer or something?"
I do marketing.
Yeah, I do marketing for bands. Come on down to the next level, Jim.
Next level fitness.
We're taking it to
With
the
my
next
iron.
level. God damn it! But I need people that can approach those people. And Wednesday, on Wednesday, I was talking to my mom and one of my stepsisters. She's a junior in high school, and I was like, how do I get people of your age to come to this show? And she's not into that kind of music at all, metal music, punk music, or anything like that. I was like, how do I get people your age to go to shows? I was like, I need people in high school that will pass out flyers. And she said, I'll do it.
Nice.
And I said, for real? And she's like, yeah. I was like, and my mom was like, you know who to give flyers to? She's like, yeah, I know exactly the people to give flyers to. I literally printed 60 flyers right there. 60 sheets of paper, cut in half, had 30 flyers on there, gave them to her. Saturday, a kid walks in, and it doesn't have to be like, I'm not expecting 60 people are going to be there because 60 flyers are printed, but anybody, even one person's good.
And we got that one, right?
We got that one, and that one costs more. I made more profit off that one kid coming that I didn't lose money on the flyers.
10 cents for
flyers,
paper.
cheap as shit. Yeah, the kid came in there, and I was like, I never seen him before. I was like, hey, how'd you hear about this? And he was like, oh, like my friend at school, said her brother is in a band. They're playing the night, and she gave me a flyer the other day. I gave her flyers on Wednesday. The show was on Saturday. He showed up. He said he had like something going on. He was like out of town, like in like Loris or somewhere, and had to come to the show. But he still made it to the show. Got the flyer on either Thursday or Friday, and showed up on Saturday.
Damn.
And I was like, well, he's like, yeah, my friend said her brother's playing, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Not even thinking, I'm the fucking brother. I didn't realize. I was like, hey, do you go to St. James? He's like, yeah. And I was like, who gave it to you? He's like, Cheyenne. I was like, man, it's my stepsister. And she showed up in like 30 minutes, and I was like, I just met your friend, blah, blah, blah. And somebody was acting a fool during like Brandon Ritchie or Nasera moshing or something. Mm-hmm. He got like hit in the stomach, and he was talking about it all night.
Hell yeah.
I don't know how much of a good time he had. And I gave him a flyer afterwards.
That's
Boom.
fucking, and so
during our set, I mentioned flyers. I mentioned Myrtle Beach. Take a freaking flyer. Support
Myrtle
the
Beach,
scene.
goddammit.
I screamed, God damn it, so many damn
It was
times.
so funny. So as the night was ending, I called Devin over. I was like, join me on these flyers. And you were on the outside doing the same. I was like, every person gets a flyer. And we're like, okay. So I would tell like, here's a flyer for the next show. Follow Myrtle Beach Shows on Instagram. Be like, no, I'm good. And then grab Devin's. It was the same flyer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. And over the past 2 days, we've had so many people just following and joining along on the Myrtle Beach Show's Instagram.
It was a blast because Instagram's gone up a little bit too.
It's been like, I'm seeing the real-time effects of people getting a flyer and then like 2 or 3 days later looking at it being like, oh yeah, what is even on this piece of paper I got?
We had several people, I had several people tell me like, yeah, this is how I heard about this show.
Yeah, I was asking a few. One person's like, oh, I was at this skate shop, saw a flyer. One person's like, oh, I saw this coffee place saw a flyer. One person's like, oh, somebody else sent me a flyer through text. I was like, I didn't even know who that person was. The person that sent them the flyer didn't even go to the show.
Hell yeah.
You know? It's like, all you have to do is just be active. You don't have to be in a band to be involved. Tell a homie, pass out a flyer. Like, you have a 4-seater car, bring 3 friends.
Pack it up. Yeah.
Like, I used to have friends call me when I went to shows in Charleston, and they'd be like, hey, like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, nothing. Like, you gonna go to a show? Like, where? Charleston. Who's playing? Don't worry about it. Get money for the tickets, $10. Okay. Pick you up in 5 minutes. What the fuck? They're already there. I'm in the car on the way. Let's go to Chick-fil-A. We're going to the show in Charleston.
That's sick.
Crazy stuff, getting involved with it. And like, not just sharing flyers, but sharing and talking about your experience with what Jimmy said earlier with the FOMO, the fear of missing out. People are gonna be like, damn, that was like a crazy time. Yeah. I wish I was there.
Exactly.
I posted, I had somebody filming our set on a GoPro. I posted a 30-second clip. Dude, I posted it in like the hardcore subreddit. Holy shit. It's got like over 9,000 views right now. And I mean, that doesn't mean 9,000.
Insane.
That doesn't mean we have 9,000 fans.
But what that does is tell people, hey, Myrtle Beach is, what the fuck's happening there?
Yeah. Dude, somebody said, they literally said like lead the fight lyrics.
Yeah.
And I was like, you must be a local or something. They're like, no. They're like, yeah, I used to go to shows on like Myrtle Beach and stuff. I was like, they like said like literally like lead the fight as a part was like, they hit like the China's like ting, and he says bounce, Myrtle Beach hardcore, and like they typed it out. And I was like, what the fuck? Like this is weird. Like this is like a deep cut I haven't heard of anybody that wasn't a local talk
That's
about.
funny.
Yeah,
and we have, like I said earlier, we have a bunch of shows lined up, and one of the shows in June is My Children, My Bride. The vocalist Matthew or Matt, I don't know which one he goes by. I don't know the guy. Saw the video on Reddit and commented on it. Can't wait to play Myrtle Beach.
Right.
And I was like, who's this? And I clicked his profile. I was like, holy fucking shit. We just announced this show last week. He's seeing how hype it is. He's going to be stoked about this fucking show. And
like, that's
like,
going to get validation across that big of a band in that scene that like, hey, that opens the door. That creates a dialogue for bands who are like, hey, Columbia's booked. Greenville's booked. I can't get a show in the Carolinas. Like, what do I do? Oh, well, I saw something. I don't know who it was, but I saw some in the Carolinas. Little bit of digging, and suddenly Myrtle Beach Shows pops up. And I'm like, oh.
So sick. I love that.
And what I hope for, and because, historically Myrtle Beach being a hardcore scene, I'll be quick, is I hope that door is open to the emo world, because I do have my bias. I do have my my personal goals with booking. Like I want to get these like indie emo bands into the town, and
let's do it.
They're easier to book than a lot of other bands, and it's a lot easier than you think it is. You just need to be able to prove it.
Yeah.
And so much of what we have planned over the next few months is kind of hoping that we can prove it, so that I can hit up my friends who work for bigger, artist management companies to be like, hey, consider us. Like, I know New Brooklyn's fucked, and they're always packed, and they're always sold out. But guess what? Those kids will drive.
Yeah.
It's not the town in the Carolinas that the band's playing. It's the band at a certain point. So if you get us them, we can guarantee it.
Right. I think that's something that's really cool. Like, well, the 2 shows I have in January, I just passed out flyers for March 11th.
Yeah.
The March 11th show, we passed out flyers, double-sided, one promoting the next show we have, April 1st.
Buy tickets.
Buy tickets on Eventbrite. You can look it up.
QR
code everywhere. All of us are playing. Well, except for Andrew. Andrew he'll join a band.
He'll do on-stage
commentary.
ASL.
Oh, yeah. That'd be dope. So one of the sheets is the flyer for April 1st. And on the back side of that sheet, it's every show we have lined up through June 8th.
That we've announced.
I would have had something on there for June later on in June, but I forgot.
And it wasn't
flyers.
properly pinned
100%, but it's 100% now.
Yeah.
I could say it later on.
Any flyer you get now will have.
Yeah.
I think I was printing those flyers when that show
when we announced it.
It happened. That's exactly how it went. Yeah. But there will be a little bit of crossover between the show like we had on Saturday versus like a straight turn forward. Or let's say the show on May 12th, for instance. There will be a little bit of a crossover.
Creepo.
But if we keep the methods up, I think we will have.
There's a lot of momentum there that I think is maybe people going to a show to hope it was like the last, which is the goal. Because if you get enough people who think,
But
it's
also
gonna
still
be like the last,
getting
then
those
it
new
is.
people too.
Yeah, because you got to
Like-
think how many people go. Well, how many people drove out to that show alone, and then now next time we're gonna be like, dude, you have to come with me.
Yep.
So that's the fucking point.
Any show
But-
we have in the future, we have to continue unless something changes.
Yeah.
Like if we have like a show that's a flop, and hopefully we won't.
Yeah.
But if we do, we need to rethink of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean,
March
things only
11th
work for so long, and
That's true.
You
Before
gotta
they get
shake
stale.
it.
March 11th, we pass out flyers for April 1st and everything through June 8th.
Yep.
April 1st, we're going to be passing out flyers for everything May 12th and on. Wait,
Yep.
no, April 22nd and on.
Yep.
April 22nd, we're passing out flyers for one side's going to be May 12th, the other side's going to be the rest of everything else.
Yep.
And so on and so forth. And we're also going to continue doing like street promotions like ourselves, trying to find like a street team. But we need to have like a bigger sense of community. And I think the last 3 shows have really proven that.
Yeah.
With how many people have come out.
think we're in a-
People would see us. People will know who we
Yeah.
are now.
I think we're in a good spot. I really feel I don't feel comfortable, which is good.
Yeah.
I feel like super fucking anxious every time I look at that Instagram because
Yep.
I'm just like, God, that's a lot of expectation.
And
for
we
that.
have-
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
Basically,
very
yeah.
cautiously optimistic. But Andrew, what do you think? Does it suck?
No,
Should we quit?
It's again.
I think we should quit.
we waited in
Throwing in the towel.
fucking
About
line.
time.
Yeah. What, Andrew?
Waited
Andrew,
in fucking line
where?
at 3552 Northgate Drive.
Oh, why'd you wait in line at
played
3552
there?
Northgate Drive?
It was Hymns of Blasphemy.
Who's in that band?
I can't believe they played a solo show.
Yeah, Caustin.
Caustin the man, big man,
Big man. Big dog.
Big dog.
big dog.
Corn dog.
Heard the big dog's gonna be there. And, D-Hog.
D-Hawk, Mr.
D-Hawk.
Jimmy's
D-Hog
gonna
and
be
Big
there
Dog.
too. Running the door.
Oh, that's like a morning show.
Welcome to
Big Dog and D-Hog in the morning.
The Hog and the Dog.
Hog and Dog.
Hog and the dog.
Hog and the Dog
It's almost
with
like
Mr.
Haagen
Jimmy.
Dazs.
Hog and Dogs?
Haagen Dogs?
Ooh,
Haagen Dogs?
Haagen Dog.
I
Haagen
want some
Dogs.
ice cream.
That's good.
it's a drive time
All
show.
right, what are we doing?
Yeah, are we
What
quitting?
What are we promoting?
How do you feel about this?
What are we
man?
talking about here?
How do I?
How do you feel about the collective, the resurgence of the scene, the fucking fire lit under
Round
our
us
asses?
out. Send us home.
Tell us how it's going, man.
Take us in. Where's your rant?
It's really exciting.
You haven't ranted today,
I did a
have you?
rant at the top of the show.
it was
Sort
more like
of.
a
We need
monologue.
I was
another
trying
one.
to keep.
It felt more like a really well scripted monologue. Rant feels off the cuff.
I scribbled it down real quick.
well, yeah, you were reading
outside.
off your leg. It was weird.
But
He wrote it with his hair. He twined it real quickly.
He's the only man who can still read cursive.
He's talented. Yeah.
it's very exciting here, and oh shit, I'm still stressing it. I fucking
A little bit of PTSD.
I blew a tire out going to Florida one time,
Once? That's sick.
and every time I'm on a long road, my tire, I get anxious about my tire, and it's the same feeling right now with the computer.
You just can't enjoy it yet.
No, it's very exciting. It's very cool. I hope more people. I just wanted to keep growing. I don't really have like all I can do is just help out as much as I can.
This is a great platform, though, for this.
This
you
is
know?
amazing.
This
Yeah.
contribution to the scene, although if it feels overlooked or not, like it's something that I constantly listen to week to week and feel like I'm engaged in the scene or engaged in like these kind of deeply woven, interconnected friendships that all kind of tie back to it. I don't know. Being a part of this or even just listening to this is keeping me immersed in the music scene in Myrtle Beach.
Well, that's cool.
You know?
I hope more. I kind of want to. I want to pivot more to being active, more music wise with this, because fucking last week we did a fake Family Guy,
And I was
and I mean,
fucking
what, I mean,
incredible.
it's,
Fucking hilarious.
I think what y'all have going, and I hate to get meta on it, is like y'all. It's an open slate that everything you've touched on here is just fucking incredible for me to listen to as a consumer, just because I'm listening to two guys I know, and I don't give a shit what y'all talk about, but y'all are gonna get me engaged. I don't give a fuck about Alf. I don't care, but I listened intently the whole time because I'm just like,
hey man,
they sound like they're passionate about something, and that's what this seems.
Have you gone and watched Alf though?
No, and I have no intent,
dude.
But that's what's great.
You gotta watch Alf.
Y'all had me watch Yogi, and that was about like. I was like, I'm watching this not because I want to watch this. I'm watching this because I just kind of want to be a part of this.
Dude, when they talked about the Buttercream Gang on here, I damn near shit myself.
It was so good.
I didn't think anybody else knew about that fucking movie.
Yeah, I didn't.
And I was like a super fan. I was like, this is amazing. I
great.
even watched both movies back to back on fucking YouTube because I can't find them anywhere else. And I was mind blown that these two guys talked about it on the podcast.
Y'all are my entry point to a lot of things that I don't intend to research further.
Obscure content.
Look at this guy.
I do like doing that.
But I do.
That's what's tugging me from going fully into.
No, and I love the balance y'all have. I'll tell you the band's extravaganza. That stuff was. I think that's a great just grounding to being like.
With all this stuff
connected.
going on, I'm going to do another one. So look out for that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I guess just to round it out. Did you say round it out?
I said round it
out. I like
out.
it. We're round. This is the round end over here.
Yeah, big dog.
Big dog over here, boy.
Big dog in the roundouts.
I don't necessarily think end goal is a great term because I don't think any of us want to see it end. But what is sort of like what's the end game or the goal with all what
I think about this
besides just like the vague broad I want to see it grow. I want to see more people get involved. Just like what
I say world domination straight up.
I have a good serious answer. I want to be able to hand it off.
That's what I was just about to say.
I totally want to have to not have to deal with it at a certain point and give it to somebody who's even more fucking stoked on it than I am.
That'd be dope.
If they can, like, I was literally about to just say that. Like,
it's like this.
There's a point where we don't want to do this anymore.
Like, who does this pivot into that we can almost hold accountable with a reputation? Like, hey, you're now running this idea of Myrtle Beach Shows. Like, Myrtle Beach Shows, yes, it is run by 3, but it's also a Facebook group that,
and
whether or not they want to be involved, they're in
put their hand in there.
Yeah, it's like
anyone can
book
do
a show, and if you prove your fucking value, like, of course you're contributing to the scene, and we need that. Like, we're gonna help you, and at a certain point, like, I don't want to do this forever. I want to be a part of it for almost as long as I can, but like, I know my time and I know my place in it, and the second I feel like my place is not right, I want to give it to someone who should be in that, you know?
Yeah. And
I don't waste y'all's time.
Another point is like, all right, so there's 3 guys who are doing the most prominent shit in a scene for a town. There's nothing wrong with you guys taking the charge of that and doing that because you guys are putting the maximum effort into it. And, you know, again, people can help out as much as they can. They could even without even like consenting with you guys with it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, it's everyone's fucking shit and we're all going to partake in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't remember the band. This is a Sopranos reference, but someone said it was like the Dave Brown 5. Like there's got to be that Dave Brown. And there's got to be like the fucking, you know, the figure points to fucking point it in that direction.
You got to spearhead it for things to just kind of follow along.
So
it's like the goal isn't for us to run this town. The goal is to like,
and I can point this back to wrestling too.
Hell yeah, I do it
because there's like a thing in different indie promotions and stuff where it's just like people running around doing whatever the fuck they want, and it's all in like good faith and like wanting to do the best for whatever that promotion is. But you got to have some people with the big hand, the big iron fist, not even iron fist.
You need someone to guide it.
Yeah.
This man said, "Speak softly, carry a big stick, dude."
Yeah.
Big dog.
You guys all have big sticks.
Thanks, man.
We have the biggest sticks in Myrtle Beach over here.
So,
I mean, it's not just we're not the only ones booking shows in Myrtle Beach.
I know.
But like our collective, I think promotes each other's
And
things
I think it's
hard
just,
as we can.
It's my goal at the current moment with the shows we've announced and shows that we continue to plan to announce is like, if there's someone else booking in town, like that should piss you off that we're doing this, and you should do something even harder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not a competition, but if you feel like it is, fucking do it.
I've definitely
Please.
promoted shows out of spite before, 100%.
And I think like if that's the motivator, let it be, let it happen, because that's only good.
Yeah, like if
You know, don't alienate, but like, dude, we had 2 shows that happened this weekend, and aside from the 2 DIY shows, there were probably like 5 original music events happening in town.
I didn't realize there was so much going on until after the fact.
There were like
too.
350 people that had to have been out seeing original live music in Myrtle Beach, and not a
Yeah.
cover band setting, and not a bar gig setting. Like, there were events outside of ours that obviously did not compete in the sense, like it was not a competition. They stood themselves.
Yeah,
There's a market.
definitely
Capitalize. But anyway, we get to promotions. I want to promote some shit.
Yeah, I'm going to promote some stuff, but yeah, you're not too cool, you know, to do stuff. And this is me saying it, not the collective.
Damn.
You're not too
Coolest
cool.
guy on earth.
You don't have to have a fucking attitude. You know,
Don't be a dick.
It's going to be. What I want more is the bands to have fun and the people coming out to have fun. And that's why I do this dumb shit every fucking week is I want people who are listening to have fun, because I like talking about dumb shit with my friend. And so we're all gonna have fun, and that's an order.
I'm having fun.
We're gonna have fun. Do you hear me?
Heard.
We're gonna have fun.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna have fun.
This is all about fun.
Fun.
Put the gun away. Put the gun away. Put the gun down.
So, but
Yeah.
this is so easy. So there's Myrtle Beach shows. I'm sure there's more.
There is
but
more.
these are the
There
ones
is
I know
more.
about. And so here we go. April 1st, you can go to Brick House Lounge. Well, before you go to the Brick House Lounge, before April 1st, you need to go on Eventbrite to buy a $10 ticket. If you want to pay $15 at the door, that's up to you.
I will not stop you from
you
spending
can
more
do
money.
that. It's more money for the bands and the venue, and they're going to be like, "Hey, thanks for all the money. Have more shows here." But whatever you do, come out to it. Brick House Lounge, 7:30. That's Turn of Forte, Juxton, Roy, Reviler, Hymns of Blasphemy. That is like a smoothie of a show. Half
Nice
fucking
mix.
dance around, pretty voices, to another half of just
Whooping ass.
very whooping ass.
Oh yeah.
All right, April 22nd. There's a covers night.
Hell yeah.
At Fresh Brew Coffee House. It's $10. What's that? I don't. It doesn't say who what's going on.
There were a lot of bands on there, and I thought it would be just very confusing if I put this band as this band.
I
So I
know
just
there's
put covers. night.
Bombay Bicycle Club, and there's the Front Bottoms.
Two Door Cinema.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Bombay. It was Two Door Cinema Club.
Yep.
The Front Bottoms and some other folks doing some covers.
Let's just say it's a cover. It's a cover
It's
show
original
where there's
bands.
not going to be like
No
nobody's
boomers.
playing Wagon Wheel.
Yeah, no boomers.
It's original bands
no
doing
Sublime.
their versions of popular songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be dope. Right? It's
Myrtle
gonna be
Beach's
way
most
different.
talented fucking kids and bands that you've probably already seen this year.
Yeah,
Playing some songs that you might recognize. Think of Emo Night without the tag.
yeah.
Basically.
It's gonna be fun. May 12th at Fresh Brewed.
Honk honk.
Yeah, $10, 8 p.m. Windley. That's the band that Devin and I are in. Woo! And Penalty Box, Fallscape, and a Brevity. And really looking forward to that. And there's some other shows, but let's just stick to the Myrtle Beach right now.
Yeah.
May 20th, Clean Sweep. They played back in January. They're really fun.
They're dope.
Naum, I think.
Naum?
Nom.
Where are they
Nom,
from?
nom, nom.
They're from Florida.
And
They're
then,
going to be from Myrtle Beach, though, after this show.
Yeah, they don't want to be in Myrtle Beach.
the locals, Ocala, they're playing again at the Fresh Brewed, May 20th,
honk.
$10,
Woohoo!
8 p.m. Then June 8th. Now, you really want to circle this one because this is going to be interesting because it's at a new spot, Arcadia Studios. Mall, Tombstoner, and then 2 locals, Visions of Brutality and Narcera, who played their first show last Saturday and
Hell
absolutely
yeah, they
annihilated.
did. Crushed.
And June 8th, Arcadia Studios, $10. That's at 6:30 p.m. So
Get your bedtimes in.
yeah, get
It'll
on
be good.
early, get worn out, go to bed. So and yeah, all ages are all shows are all ages. So that's pretty cool.
Except for
Well,
the
show up, show out. We'll see.
Oh,
Yeah,
April 1st
April
is
1st.
April 1st is 18 plus.
18 plus.
Show up, show up. We'll figure it out.
However,
but
if you buy a ticket,
Hey man, if you're old enough to drive,
if you buy a
if
ticket,
you get
I'm not
dropped
gonna,
off
you know,
and your parents are old enough to drink, we'll let you in.
yeah, if you buy a ticket, then there's no
you're not
real
a
way
cop-
to turn you away if you
Yeah.
already spent your money online.
No cops
So-
allowed. That's the only rule.
And-
Buy the ticket online first, please.
Fortunately for you, I'm the one scanning the ticket at the door.
And we don't know how to do refunds.
And I don't know how to do refunds.
yeah, baby in a diaper.
Are your parents alive?
Hey man, I was on Reddit and I thought here's a blasphemy. Oh shit myself real quick, but look, you gotta let me. That's my baby impersonation.
It sounded like a.
Hey man,
Bubblegum.
hey man, I bought a ticket to this gig. What the fuck?
And that is
Yeah.
that is it. You
Can I push and promote? Turner Forte put out a song called "Exit" a couple weeks ago, and it rocks.
Yeah.
You
It's
should
pretty
listen
good.
to it. Devin's playing it live.
I've had a hard time with that song.
Turner Forte on Spotify.
I have a love-hate relationship
Turner
with that
Forte on
song.
anywhere. Follow Myrtle Beach Shows.
at Myrtle Beach Shows Caustin.
Check out Hymns of Blasphemy on Instagram. It's one word, no F. Hymns O Blasphemy. And really just follow Myrtle Beach Shows and come out and get involved. Talk to us. Let's have fun.
Follow Turner Forte. Follow Myrtle Beach Shows. Listen to Exit. Come see us April 1st. Please save $5. I mean, I don't. My girlfriend insists that she's paying $15, but little does she know I bought her a pre-sale, so
Ooh.
I didn't yet, but I will.
That was high turn.
Little does she know she will not listen to this and knows that I will buy her a pre-sale.
Right on. So yeah, follow at Myrtle Beach Shows to stay updated. Even if you're out of town, you might want to come.
Yeah.
hang
See
out.
what you're missing out on.
Yeah,
For real.
hang out.
Don't be a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Be a fucking winner.
Get involved.
Myrtle Beach Shows is all winners, dude.
All winners.
Dude, anyone who goes to our shows are winners.
Straight up winners.
Winners. Winning.
Alphas. Everybody's an alpha out
Dude,
there.
Tiger
hashtag
blood.
driving to the show. Honk honk.
Tiger Blood. Everybody's hashtag winning.
Yeah, all of her shows are hashtag epic. Dude, there's so
Okay,
many. I saw so
this is
many.
epic.
I saw so many troll faces in the crowd earlier.
Really?
Dude, everyone was XDing. It was crazy.
Oh, jeez.
All right, shut the fuck
I
up.
was I raffled mayo.
Dude, I
dude.
raffled the whole night.
I
It was
raffled
crazy.
All right,
dude,
shut
I
up.
saw someone rafflecopter in the pit.
God.
Oh, fuck.
Sick wikis, dude. It was awesome.
But most importantly, for more Windley crap, you follow at Windley_band and on all the socials. And you check out
Windley.blogspot.com.
WindleyHub.blogspot.com, where apparently I just
It's
get
wrestling
excited about
reviews.
wrestling shows and then drink a lot of beer after it and then
Can
write
we,
about
can we have
it.
a show at a wrestling show?
I want
Could
to.
we partner with a wrestling event? Do
There,
you have any
there
on
is
that?
a local wrestling company that's like starting up again.
Can you work
Yeah,
on that,
hook us
Andrew?
up.
That's your contribution to the scene. if
I
you
know
can.
one promotion. I don't know.
Caustin knows one wrestler.
TBD.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do
Yeah,
know
I
him.
know.
I know
So-
Chris Jericho. What? Ideal.
So that is all. Yeah, this theme song. It's a shame to complain, but we gotta have a lot more love. Okay, we really, because I have to edit this. Oh my god, it should be out by now. All right, bye.